How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 298, Volkanovski vs. Topuria on February 17th, 2024. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 12, baby. We start with Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick to open up the card. This is the second time Miranda Maverick is opening up a pay-per-view, or like a pay-per-view card, right? I'm picking Miranda Maverick by unanimous decision, 29-28. I think this is a pretty solid pick. Andrea Lee's takedown defense isn't that great. It's about 50, but the thing is, Miranda Maverick, also her takedown defense is like 42, and Andrea Lee actually does go for a lot of takedowns. A lot of people see her mostly as a kickboxing type, and in her last, I think, 5 fights, she's averaged like 3 takedown attempts. Andrea Lee is probably going to have the advantage on the feet, mostly with her head kicks or 1s and 2s. Miranda Maverick has gotten better on the feet, but I just don't think she's surpassed what Andrea Lee has. But the difference is control time on the ground, which Miranda Maverick has become better at. I don't think she'll be able to submit Andrea, because Andrea has only been submitted once in her career. I don't think she's ever been submitted inside the UFC. But also, Andrea is dwindling down. She's getting older. She's 35. Miranda's only 26. Andrea is off of 3 losses in a row. Not to bad opponents, but, still 3 losses in a row. She looks slower. She's not able to land the highlight shots that she needs. I know she landed a head kick knockdown in that Viviane Araujo fight, but I don't see her landing that on Miranda. Miranda's kind of got a good chin on her. I see Miranda taking her down, clinch work, grinding her way to a 29-28 decision. We move to Oban Elliott versus Val Woodburn. I'm going to pick Oban Elliott, but I am not. There are a lot of 50-50 fights on this card, I will say this, like where you could pick other guy and make a good argument for it. This fight is because listen, I'm picking Oban Elliott by unanimous decision, 29-28, another decision. Oban Elliott is more of a wrestler type of guy. His striking is very weird. He sets up the takedowns very well, though, off his strikes. Val Woodburn hits very hard. 5 of his 7 wins are by knockout. And both of Oban Elliott's losses are by TKO. He is a bit chinny. Not chinny, but he can get cracked. We saw it on the Contender Series. I don't know if it was more of fatigue or him actually, getting clipped very hard. But he does gas. Val Woodburn also does gas. He throws a lot of heavy punches. I would pick Val Woodburn if his striking was more compact and more technical. Val is a very sloppy fighter. He throws a lot of meaty hooks. But don't be shocked if Oban Elliott does get knocked out. This is why I chose not to bet on this card. Because fights like this where Oban Elliott is such a big favorite, but this fight could just end in the first round with a knockout by Val Woodburn. I would not bet on this fight, because this fight could go either way. I don't think Oban Elliott could submit Val Woodburn. He's too much of a tanky kind of guy. But I think the takedowns will come easier later in the fight. I don't see Oban knocking out Val Woodburn either. I don't see that. If it goes by knockout, it'll be Val. So, I would not bet on this fight. I'm picking Oban Elliott, though, but this could backfire really bad. We move to Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. Another good, interesting fight. I'm picking Danny Barlow by first round TKO. This fight's very interesting, mostly due to the fact that this is another one of those fights where it's like you can make an argument for both guys. Danny Barlow, while he does present a lot of power in his left hand and his left high kick, because that's mostly what Danny Barlow is going to throw. Step in left hands, left leg kick, left body kick, high kick. That's mostly his weapon. His left side of his body is his arsenal. He rarely throws jabs. Josh Quinlan, his reach for this division, and that's why I'm picking Danny Barlow. Danny Barlow's reach is what's going to control this fight, because we saw in Josh Quinlan's last fight against Trey Waters, another rangy welterweight, that this is his business. That's what he does. He just feeds out shit like that. He feeds out long rangy punches. Josh Quinlan will try and counterpunch, but he will get counterpunched back. We saw that in the Trey Waters fight heavily, because when this reach disadvantage this high, it doesn't matter about height. He's going to have to rush in. And Danny Barlow is a guy that will rush in with him, but I highly doubt he'll do the stupid shit that Jason Witt did, where he'll throw a body kick and rush in, right? I see Danny Barlow. The reaction that Rasheed Forrest had on the Contender Series was unlike anything I've seen in a while. His fucking equilibrium was shattered, dude. He started fucking chicken dancing. It was one of the most, like, wild fucking 1-minute fights on the Contender Series has been. This will probably be a very sloppy fight. I don't see either of these guys going crazy up the rankings. This is just going to be a fun, lower-ranked welterweight fight. But I think Danny Barlow is going to get it done. We move to Mingying Zhang versus Brandonson Ribeiro, who is the brother of Claudio Ribeiro. This fight is quite interesting. These guys are basically the same person. You look at their knockouts, I think Mingying Zhang has 10, and Brandonson has 9. You look at how many submissions, 6 and 6. They both have 5 losses. They've both been KO'd quite a few times. Brandonson is coming off a Contender Series win, while Mingying Zhang's coming off the road to UFC. Both of them were, like, heavy underdogs in both of their fights. I think Ming was, like, a fucking plus 500 or some shit. I'm picking Mingying Zhang. After some further research, I watched some other dudes' videos of who they're picking, not MMA Guru or anything. I looked at MMA Ecosystem's video. He provided a good argument of why he believes that Brandonson will lose. Brandonson, he is quite sloppy. Both these guys kind of are, but I think Mingying Zhang's more controlled and more delicate with his punches. He's more controlled and measured. Brandonson gets pressured a lot, and I think that'll favor Ming Young. He has a takedown aspect. We've seen it on his fights in China. He'll go for a body lock takedown, body lock trip. He has those abilities in his toolbox. I think most of Brandonson's submissions are off his back, or in top control, rather. I don't think his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that good off his back. I think Mingying Zhang will just kind of clip him. This is a one-round fight. This is the definition of it. Both these guys' chins can get cracked. I think that Brandonson's will crack first. So I'm going with Mingying Zhang by first-round TKO. It's another 50-50 fight, man. We move to Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. This is going to be my lock. Rinya Nakamura, first-round submission. Carlos Vera, while he does present a submission threat with guillotines and RNCs, I think most of his wins come via submission. I think it's like 5 or 6 of his 11 wins. Rinya Nakamura is just going to be better than he is. I think Carlos Vera is taking this fight also on short notice. The last time he fought was on the Ultimate Fighter against Brad Katona, and he kind of just got beat up there. Rinya Nakamura is going to thrash this dude around. This is not going to be a good fight for Carlos. Rinya is just stronger. He's younger. He's just going to be better, man. The reach disadvantage, I don't think, plays any part in this. Rinya's going to fuck this dude up bad, and I'm kind of nervous for this, for how he's going to look at the end of this. Maybe it'll be quick and easy, but Rinya Nakamura, first-round submission. I'll go with arm triangle. Fuck it. We move to possibly one of the biggest storylines of UFC 298, Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Junior Tafa. Of course, Marcos was supposed to fight Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa pulled out on weigh-ins, and Junior subbed in. This is going to be very interesting. And I think I'm going to go with, listen, you can call me the dumbest motherfucker of all time. I'm picking Junior Tafa. A lot of people are saying people are, like, falling off the Marcos thing just due to the last knockout. And yeah, I am. He, at 38 years old, not a lot of guys are going to take a loss like that. He said he got his teeth knocked out, right? Not a lot of people are going to bounce back from that. He's fighting a younger guy who hits significantly hard. I mean, not as hard as a Derek Lewis flying knee, probably, but he has more athleticism than Derek Lewis. Of course, the one thing that really is significant in this fight is Marcos' grappling. This fight will most likely end with Marcos just like, oh, fuck, I dropped my fucking headphones. This will most likely just end in a wrestlefest with Marcos probably submitting Junior. But I am praying that it doesn't end like that. Junior's been in there with Muhammad Usman. I'm not saying that Muhammad's better than Rogerio, but he's dealt with clinch battles like that. And this one guy on Twitter, I don't think Junior's going into this cold. I really don't think so. I think Junior's going in there on a camp that he trained with Justin Tafa. I think he's going there not cold, Junior Tafa didn't look insanely cut. He never does. He kind of has a bit of flap. Junior's going to have the striking advantage. The Glory kickboxer's definitely going to have the striking advantage. Now, of course, Marcos, if he gets this to the clinch, gets him to the ground, then it's going to be rough. Right? But Junior Tafa defended takedowns from Parker Porter. Sorry. Right? I think Junior Tafa's going to clip him, man. I think this is going to be the downfall of Rogerio de Lima. Right? He's only got knocked out twice. Right? But we've seen this happen with a lot of guys like Frankie Edgar. When they get knocked out when they're older, it just happens easier and easier and easier. And it's not like he got knocked out cold in that Derek Lewis fight, but he got fucking rocked bad, man. I think the leg kicks of Marcos will definitely play a part in this. Play a part in his win if he does win. But I think Junior's going to be able to check him. I think the straighter punches will favor Junior. If Junior can just circle and not be against the fence, I think this is a pretty easy win for him, if I'm being honest. We go to the featured prelim of the night, Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. I'm picking Amanda Lemos. This fight, it hurts to pick against Mackenzie Dern because she is just so... Mackenzie Dern's beautiful, alright? I'll just put it like that. Amanda Lemos, I just feel this is a bad fight for Mackenzie. She's coming off a bad loss to Jessica Andrade, who just rocked her shit around. I think Amanda Lemos is going to punch very hard, probably harder than Jessica Andrade. And her grappling is better than Jessica Andrade's, right? I don't think that Mackenzie's going to pull off some crazy submissions on Amanda. I think Amanda knows how to keep her distance now. I know Amanda's coming off that fucking beatdown that she had against Zhang Weili. Mackenzie Dern's not Zhang Weili. Let's be honest. She doesn't have the wrestling to get Amanda to the ground like Zhang Weili does. She doesn't have the striking to set down Amanda Lemos like Zhang Weili does. This is a short notice fight. Amanda was supposed to fight Tatiana Suarez, so she's already prepared for wrestling going into this fight. A lot of people forget about that. Mackenzie Dern's going to struggle getting this to the ground. I don't see her winning. I'm going TKO round 2. This will be yet another setback for Mackenzie Dern, but Mackenzie will bounce back. She's only 30 years old, man. And she's got some extra stuff backing her up, right? Let's be honest. That's a bad joke. All right, Amanda Lemos, fuck it. We move to the start of the main card with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. This is yet another interesting fight, 50-50 fight. I'm picking Roman Kopylov by first round TKO. Now, let me explain this. Right, this fight goes one of two extreme ways. Anthony Hernandez is able to get the takedown and just mauls Roman Kopylov, or Roman Kopylov just beats the shit out of fucking Anthony Hernandez on the feet. I'm picking the latter of those two extremes. Here's the thing, a lot of people are using the Albert Duraev fight as a way to slander Roman Kopylov, as if that wasn't like 3 or 4 years ago, and since then, Roman Kopylov has had 100% takedown defense since that Albert Duraev fight, right? And in that Albert Duraev fight, Albert Duraev went 1 of 9. They're using one takedown from the fight because there was only one takedown in that fight, right? Roman Kopylov has a 92% takedown defense in the UFC, right? And some of the guys that Anthony Hernandez has fought, their takedown defense stinks. Some of the guys he's fought, their takedown defense sucks, right? And I'm not saying that because, Anthony Hernandez is, of course, a lovely wrestler. He has some of the greatest fucking hand battles and trips inside the clinch and just overall double legs, not blast double legs, just takedowns against the clinch, just trips and shit, right? He's one of the best middleweights right now at that. But I just struggle to believe that Anthony Hernandez is going to be able to get inside on Roman Kopylov and be able to get those takedowns, especially with his chin, right? And I'm not saying that it's not crazy to get knocked out by 2020 Kevin Holland. Everyone was getting knocked out by 2020 Kevin Holland, right? But, I mean, he got fucked up. And, of course, since then, he's not lost a fight. He's beat a lot of good guys, like Jung Young Park. Was it Jung Young Park after Kevin Holland? Or was that before? Who gives a shit? Jung Young Park, Rodolfo Vieira, Edmund Shabazian. He's fought some good guys. Roman Kopylov is on a streak right now. 4 fights in a row, 4 finishes in a row. He dropped his first 2. Kind of similar to Anthony Hernandez in a way. Just different styles. I think this fight is a good fight for both. I think Roman Kopylov is going to win it out. I think he has the advantage on the feet. Now, of course, in the clinch and ground, which are 2 of 3, Anthony Hernandez is going to have the grappling aspect. But I just think that Roman Kopylov's improved well enough to where he doesn't have problems anymore in those areas. People are using fights from 3 years ago. I know I just used a fight from 4 years ago, right? I'm a bit of a hypocrite, right? But still. Yeah, fuck. I think Roman Kopylov's got it, bro. And I also saw him live, so fuck you. We move to possibly one of the most... Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. This is a very interesting fight as well. This whole main card is stacked of fights that could go 50-50. Right? They're fucking flooded throughout. I'm picking Merab Dvalishvili. Now listen. I want to pick Henry Cejudo. I do, because I hate Merab Dvalishvili. Not as a person, as a fighter. I hate him as a fighter. He is so ungodly boring. But you gotta look at the facts. Henry Cejudo lost to Aljamain Sterling. Prior to that, he took 3 years off, right? Took a long layoff. People are like, well, he doesn't have ring rust anymore. But it's like, he probably is. Going from Aljamain Sterling to a Merab Dvalishvili are 2 completely different paces and 2 completely different fights. A lot of people are like, Merab Dvalishvili might not be able to implement his pace in a 3-round fight. He does it in every fight. That is what Merab does. People are like, he just goes for fucking takedowns, he never gets them. He doesn't care about getting the takedowns. He just wants to make you tired. Because Merab knows he doesn't get tired. That's his thing. He has a third lung. People use Colby Covington as an example. I use Merab Dvalishvili. He legit does not get tired. He shot 49 takedowns against Petr Yan, only got 11. You know how fucking tired you would be after shooting 49 takedowns on a single individual across 25 fucking minutes? That would be staggering if you weren't huffing for breath. Petr Yan needed fucking Child Protective Services to get away from Merab Dvalishvili. Merab ragdolled him. Now, Henry Cejudo's an Olympic level wrestler. He should be able to defend these. But the thing is, when Merab gets a hold of you, it's hard to get him off. He just is going to have his hands clasped. He's just going to pressure you against the fence. He's going to fucking dry hump you. He's like, he's just going to keep doing that. And it sucks, because this is going to be probably a boring fight, even though it should be exciting. Henry Cejudo, I would say, has a slight edge in striking. But just fighting styles make fights. Merab Dvalishvili realistically should not win this fight. But he's going to. Just off of pace and pressure. That's what he does. He breaks people. Aljamain Sterling made Henry Cejudo work in their fight. Merab is going to make him fucking work overtime, dude. In almost half the time. Also, Merab hits pretty hard. He does. He's a short, stocky guy. He hits pretty hard. Right? That's what he does. I mean, he made fucking Petr Yan's eyeball go inside out. Alright? Henry Cejudo, I want him to win. Because I think a fight between him and Sean O'Malley or Cheeto Vera would be very interesting. I think it would. And I don't want to see Merab hold the title. I just don't see Henry winning. I don't. And it hurts me. Because I want to see him win, but I'm just like, ah! We move to yet another crazy fight on this insane Anaheim card. Jeff Neal versus Ian Machado Gary. I'm picking Ian Gary, and I know that really fucking sucks because Ian Gary's a cuck. But, like, you can't deny his skills. A lot of people are going to use Kanan Song as an example of why Jeff Neal will win. He'll clip him. That's, of course, one of the extremes. Again, it's one of these extremes where it's like Jeff Neal will win by knockout just by clipping him like Kanan Song did, or Ian Gary will just dominate him, right? I'm picking Ian Gary by domination. The size difference, and I know I would say reach, but Ian Gary's kind of got T-Rex arms, but the thing is his legs are long, man. He's going to work Jeff Neal in the clinch. A lot of people forget Jeff Neal lost to Neil Magny. A lot of people are going to forget about that, right? And I'm not using MMA math. I'm not. Neil Magny is objectively a worse fighter than Ian Gary. He just, stylistically, why? Not just because Ian Gary beat him. Just stylistically, he is a much worser fighter. Much worse fighter than Ian Gary is. Jeff Neal struggles with bigger guys. He just does. He lost to Wonder Boy just due to size parity, right? He lost to Neil Magny just because of how long he is, how tall he is. Jeff Neal struggles against guys like that. He thrives against people the same size as him, like Bilal Muhammad, Vicente Luque. He thrives in positions like that, but when a guy is longer than him, not arms-wise, just like leg-wise, Ian Gary trumps Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal has a chance to win this just using straight left hands. He really does. But I think Ian Gary's going to be able to slip all those punches, probably go for takedowns as well. But the thing is, Jeff Neal's takedown defense is so good, so I don't think Ian Gary's going to succeed in that realm. He'll just use front teep kicks to the gut. He'll use head kicks. He'll use a jab. He'll use a teep kick. He'll mostly use leg kicks and teep kicks. That's what I'm assuming from Ian Gary. He'll use a teep kick, front kick. He'll use a teep kick, a leg kick, head kick. Maybe an odd one, too, here and there. This is going to be a kickboxing fight, and Ian Gary's going to lead the dance, sadly. So I'm picking Ian Gary by unanimous decision, 30-27. Right? This fucking sucks, dude. I got to see Merab and Ian Gary win back-to-back. Are you fucking kidding me? We move to the co-main event of the evening. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Man. I had to sit down and think about this one for a while, if I'm being honest. Because half of me wants to pick Paulo Costa, just based on the fact that he is a power puncher. And that Robert Whittaker's chin is made of fairy dust, and I think a toddler could crack him. The other half wants me to pick Robert Whittaker because Robert Whittaker is objectively just the better fighter than Paulo Costa. He just is. He is a better fighter objectively than Paulo Costa, right? He just is. Which is why I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker. I think he should edge this one out. But the thing is, though, like, the size advantage, Paulo Costa's a big dude, man. He's a big guy. He's a big boy right there. He's a big boy who's slow. Very slow. If Robert Whittaker gets knocked out cold, he should retire, if I'm being honest. If Paulo Costa knocks him out cold, this should be Robert Whittaker's last fight. I'm telling you what. If he gets knocked out cold by Paulo Costa, he should retire. I'm picking Robert Whittaker. But if Paulo Costa does knock Robert Whittaker out cold, this should be his last fight. All I'm saying. Robert Whittaker, unanimous decision, 29-28. We move to the main event of the evening. Alexander the Great Volkanovski versus Ilia El Matador Topuria. I'm going Alexander Volkanovski. I know, I'm going against the grain. Hear me out. Ilya's got a lot of emotions going on this week. He could become the first ever Spaniard, Georgian, whatever, I think, champion in the UFC. He could become that. I mean, there's a lot. He's very angry. He's thrown off a lot of emotions. He sounds very mad. People are like, he's in Volk's head. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not even close. Volkanovski is not scared of Ilia Topuria. He's fought Islam Makhachev twice. Skill-wise is where it gets even, right? Ilia Topuria is a very good fighter. I will be the first person to tell you that. Ilia Topuria is a very, very good fighter. And he could make this very close. But the thing is, the difference in skill is the opponents, man. There is a reason why Ilia Topuria was not forced to fight Max Holloway. Because in all seriousness, let's be honest, right? Ilia Topuria should have fought Max Holloway to get this fight. Because you can't, let's be honest, he should have, but he didn't for a reason. And it's because the UFC is tired of losing contenders because Max Holloway beats everybody else at featherweight, not named Alexander Volkanovski. Let's be 100% serious, right? Ilia Topuria's boxing is very slick. It's very clean. But Volkanovski is not Josh Emmett. He's not going to back up the entire fight swinging meaty right hands, right? swinging meaty hooks from both sides. He's just not like that. People are using shoulder roll clips as if Volkanovski, as if he's going to throw like Josh Emmett is. He's going to telegraph everything. Volkanovski's going to chew them legs up. Ilia Topuria leans heavy on that lead leg, man. Volkanovski's going to chew the shit out of that leg. And if he needs to, he'll take him to the ground. He can do that. Ilia Topuria's got submission offense? Sure. Okay, fair enough. When he's in top mount, right? I don't see him taking down Volkanovski, getting to a dominant enough position. Islam got there. I don't think Topuria's going to get there. He doesn't have the size on Volkanovski, right? Volkanovski's a hydrant. He's a fire hydrant of a human being. I don't think he's going to bulldoze Topuria. It should be close. The pace that Volkanovski's going to put on Ilia Topuria is unlike anything he's going to face. Ilia Topuria looked slower in that second round against Bryce Mitchell than what he did in the entire fight against Josh Emmett, and there's a reason for that. It's because Bryce Mitchell was pushing a pace. Josh Emmett didn't push a single pace. He backed up almost the entire fight. There might be like 4 or 5, there might be 2 minutes, tops, maybe even less, of Josh Emmett pushing the pace in that fight. Volkanovski's going to walk forward the entire time. And sure, there is a chance Topuria clips him and cracks him and knocks him out. There is an opportunity for that. Again, another 50-50 extremist fight, right? Topuria's got the skills on the feet to do that. I just don't see it happening. Volkanovski's chin at featherweight is good. He got knocked out by a fucking head kick, man. And somehow people think he's washed. Was he washed when he fought Yair Rodriguez after a loss to Islam Makhachev? It's only after a knockout when he becomes washed, right? Sure, dude. Sure, man. Would you feel the same way about this fight if it was Volkanovski just going into this fight from Yair Rodriguez? You wouldn't. And there's a reason for that. Just because he got knocked out doesn't mean jack shit, right? Now, I am nervous about that because he didn't take that much time off. I just don't see Volkanovski losing to Ilia Topuria. It should be close. Ilya's 1s and 2s. He's got decent combos. Not decent. He's got very good combos, right? Volkanovski, I think, will be defensively sound in this fight. I think he will. He uses counterpunches very well. He uses leg kicks very well. He uses the outside foot game very well. I think this is going to be a 4th-round TKO for Alexander Volkanovski. Lock it in. I'm UFC Thoughts, and these have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 298, Volkanovski vs. Topuria on February 17th, 2024. My confident picks reside with Danny Barlow, Rinya Nakamura, and in the featured prelim, Amanda Lemos. My pre-card rating is a 10 out of 10. This card should be fucking flames, alright? On the off chance it isn't, that's my fault, right? That's my bad. This card has a lot of 50-50s and a lot of extreme ends to fights. Don't bet on this card, okay? Trust me. Do not bet on this card. My picks, I could pick the complete opposite of what the main event ends up being. Because here's what I can tell you. This could happen. Anthony Hernandez wrestle-fucks Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov's takedown defense fucking stinks now, right? Merab Dvalishvili, Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo could defend every takedown and just beat the fuck out of Merab Dvalishvili on the feet. That could happen. That could happen. Ian Gary, Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal could just clip Ian Gary and knock his vegan cuck ass out, right? That could happen. Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa could just get the first knockout he's had since 2019 against Uriah Hall. Now, against Robert Whittaker. Because of course he would, because Robert Whittaker's chin is dog shit! And in the main event, of course, Ilia Topuria could just knock out Volkanovski, because who gives a shit, alright? I'm gonna cry if Robert Whittaker loses tonight. I'm gonna cry. I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.